Okay, so the release of new consoles is just around the corner, and I thought to myself, you know, you don't really have a good feel for everything that's hitting on launch day or even the main release window. Wow, you should probably fix that. So here we go. I'm going to do some of the work for you so that you don't have to. But let's go ahead and start with this Series X/S, which is the one I kind of know the least about because I figure I can play most of it on my computer. But before we get too deep into that, I want to do two things. One, ask you to give this video a like if you enjoy it, and if you like my stuff, go ahead and give me a sub and hit the bell. Blah, blah, blah. You know how that works. Secondly, I'm going to quickly, and I mean quickly, pare down this list. It's a very long list of like 30 to 31 titles. There's no way I'm going to cover all this in like a 10 to 15 minute video, and some of these are just bloat, to be honest. So, as you can see right now, there's a list of around 30 games that Microsoft is calling launch games. I say that a little sarcastically, mostly because some of them are and some of them aren't. Some of these have already been on their platform for some time, and they're just being ported over. It's basically backwards compatibility. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't consider them release titles as a result. That's all. So let's go ahead and go over those first. Okay, so the very first title they put on their list for the most part was Borderlands 3. Seriously, we all knew this was going to be here at launch. We all knew it was going to supposedly work at launch. Saying that this is going to be on the console is pretty much like saying water is wet. It was just going to be there. It's the newest entry in the Borderlands franchise. If you don't know about it, Borderlands is a great looter shooter. It's got fantastic combat, it's got a really good loot system. 3 was a little bit weaker than the other two because the protagonists are kind of annoying, but other than that, it's a very, very good game. There's plenty of stuff to do in this game. If you haven't picked it up, I do recommend picking it up, but it doesn't deserve a ton of coverage because this game's been out for about 2 years now. So, enough said on that one. Okay, the next one I'm knocking off the list is Cuisine Royale. Now, I didn't know anything about this game until I looked it up. I hadn't even heard about this game, but apparently this has been out since around 2018. It looks like it's a mix of role-based shooter like Overwatch and PUBG. It's a neat idea, and it looks like some of the people can teleport, other people have jetpacks and things like that. It looks like just a natural mix and evolution of the Battle Royale formula for the most part, and as you can see from the screenshot, it's been available since, like I said, 2018. It's already on all the major platforms. It's really nice that it's getting ported, but it's not a title that you can't play anywhere else, so I don't really call this a very valid release title. It's more of a backwards compatibility title, which, like I said, nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't deserve a ton of coverage as a result. Dead by Daylight. This one's kind of been out for a while. It's been out from roughly 2016 if you look at the actual picture here. Now, this is out on all the platforms right now. If you're not really aware of this, think evolved with like horror monsters. Basically, there's a group of survivors, much like the Jason game that came out a while back. You're all trying to escape and survive the evening, while the player playing the monsters trying to hunt you down and kill you. There are quite a few monsters in this one now, so my understanding is it's actually a pretty fun game if you're into this kind of asymmetrical, being hunted or being the hunter kind of gameplay, much like Evolve and the Jason games. It's great that it's getting a port, but this isn't really anything new either, so I'm not really going to spend a ton of time on this one. Okay, Evergate. Here's one that's actually admittedly kind of interesting and looks really, really cool. However, it's not completely new. This actually came out in August, which I don't really consider in the release window. The release window is sometime around October and November, like I had possibly stated before, so it kind of puts it out of this window. Also, you have multiple avenues of which to play this one right now, so this one isn't really all that new either. It does look like it's pretty cool. It looks more like a puzzle platformer where you're trying to figure out what happened to you just before you died. It looks like a mix of like Ori and some other puzzle platformers, and should be a lot of fun. So enjoy this if on whichever platform you pick it up on. I do not think this is going to be exclusive. Fortnite. Whoever said this wasn't coming to next-gen consoles, never go to Vegas. The odds are ever not in your favor. This you can play on your phone. You can play it on your, probably play it on your 360. You can play it anywhere. Epic has made sure of it. It's going to be there. Don't worry about it. Just keep playing it and enjoying it. Okay, next one is Forza 4 Horizon. Stop. Just stop calling games from 2018 new games. They're not. You know it. I know it. Everybody else knows it. You're killing me here. Don't get me wrong, more games is good, and more racing games is good for that community, as there just aren't that many racing franchises now. But a 2-year-old game port is not a launch title. They're backwards compatible titles. Please just stop. Gears of War 5. Seriously? I mean, who out there in this audience questioned that this game was going to work on the Xbox Series X or Series S? Now, I'm hearing some reports that it doesn't work right now. It's not quite compatible yet. But that's just right now. I'm sure by the time the console releases or shortly after, this game will work just fine. Also, not a new game, it's been out for a while. You can't call these release titles, guys, they're not new. King Oddball. Okay, this one's just weird. Technically, it's not been on a Microsoft system before, not a console, it has been on Windows. But it's a mobile game that came to the Switch, Linux, macOS, and Android. And now it's hitting the system. It's not new to them, I guess, so honorable mention maybe? I mean, hey, if you want to play a mobile game of a moon with a Gene Simmons tongue that flings asteroids at tanks and structures, then dive in. I mean, it looks quirky and kind of fun in a weird sort of Katamari Democracy kind of way. Maneater. This one's really not new. It's not. I did a review on this some months ago when it launched on all platforms. If somehow you missed this one, the synopsis is basically Jaws Revenge and you play the shark. Combat's pretty simple, but very empowering and fun. It's not very challenging, and I really like the idea and I'd like to see more of it in the future, but I'd recommend playing this when it hits Game Pass. It's really short. Maybe like 15 hours to 100% everything in the game if you're a little slow to be a full completionist. Okay, the next one up is Manifold Garden. I really want to give this an honorable mention because I missed it, but this came out in 2019 on all platforms. I'm glad it's getting a port though. I mean, if you're the kind of person that's into games as art and you enjoy puzzle games, you could do far, far worse than to give this game a go. I have no idea how long it is, but I would imagine you play through it multiple times just to see the animation and art style alone. NBA 2K21. I acknowledge this game exists. I refuse to give it any more attention than that, because any game that's going to throw unskippable ads and packs that you have to buy to be able to compete online doesn't deserve any more time than this. I don't want this. I don't feel anybody else should want this. Sorry, NBA fans. Observer, System Redux. Okay, this one's going to be an honorable mention. This game actually came out in 2017, pretty much on all platforms. This looks like a remaster with better lighting, fog effects, and a few new story elements. Is it just me, or is it weird that we're already remastering things that hit less than 3 years ago? Okay, Ori and the Will-O-Wisp. This one's very much not a new game. My understanding is this runs much smoother and looks much nicer in the new consoles. Glad it's here, it's not really new. This is, however, a beautiful, balanced piece of art and function in a video game. Ori has always been a gorgeous game. If you missed it like me, and you want the smoothest performance, go ahead and give it a go here. Also, next up, Sea of Thieves. Yeah, we all knew this would come over. It's not new. If you don't know what this is, I really have to ask where you've been during the Xbox One era. It's a pirate game. You go pirating. Yo-ho. Tetris Effect. Okay, kind of a new one, kind of an honorable mention. PlayStation had this locked down to it and PC, and now it's hitting the Xbox ecosystem. This is a great game if you're into Tetris, or just want a nice Zen-like game. I'm glad this is actually finally hitting Microsoft's ecosystem. The Tourist. Okay, so another game from last year that's a release game this year that hit all platforms again last year. This is honestly going to be a thing across all platforms and kind of always has been. This is a puzzle platformer with open world elements that make it feel more like a world instead of just a level-based game. It has a Minecraft style as well if you're into that particular art style. The story is that you're visiting an island and you're tasked with discovering the mysteries on the island that involve aliens visiting. It's a very cute game and probably worth checking out, but not new. War Thunder. This game came out in 2012, making it one of the oldest games out of the entire bunch that I have on this list. It's great that Microsoft is bringing these titles to the next generation, but please stop calling them launch titles. I mean, it came out in 2012. What makes this one interesting though is that you can battle land, air, and sea. I can't think of many games that give you sea-based combat on top of the other two. It could just be your thing if you're into World War II Battlefield type games, but it's just not a brand new game. Warhammer Chaos Slayer Edition. Honorable mention here. I think this is a re-release with some new content thrown in and graphical enhancements, etc. Kinda sad that I missed this Warhammer game initially. It looks like a really cool world. My initial impression is that this is a Diablo clone of sorts with 4 classes. The gameplay is hack and slash gameplay with a boss rush mode. I'm not sure how much time you would get in and the end game, and by that I mean, does it have sets and legendary weapons like Diablo to keep you farming, or do you just jump into boss mode or try the next class? I'd guess easily 30 hours out of this little title, more if you're pretty hardcore into hack and slash games. WRC9 World Rally Championship. Okay, another honorable mention. It almost made it into more coverage, but I made my deadline October and this hit in September. It's good that it's getting ported, and hopefully we don't have to pay full price again. Again, this is another racing game. This one's more rally style and should easily scratch that itch for racing fans. This will not be exclusive, so if you really want it, it's on all platforms now and will be on the PS5 as well. Yes, Your Grace. This came out early this year. It's a strategy game managing a small kingdom. This could be a really neat indie title if you're into that sort of thing, but it's already out on all platforms. Far Cry 6. This one's weird. Some places it says it came out February of this year, but I can't find it anywhere. Some things say it didn't, some say it's coming out February of 2021. I'm not covering it because I have no idea what's going on with this game. Okay, holy crap, we haven't even started yet, and we went from 30 titles to like 9, no, 10, I forgot Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. No concept of what's special about it, but it's hitting on launch day on both consoles. Still, that's not bad at all. It's got a good number of exclusives, but a lot of them are going to be cross-platform, just like the PlayStation 5. So let's dig into some of the real launch titles that aren't just ports from previous consoles. Alright, the first main title that doesn't look like it's going to be like a re-release or something is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This looks like it's going to be another solid release in the Assassin's Creed line, and while not exclusive to the Xbox, it's good to have regardless. I have no idea what it's going to be like to be an assassin that's a Viking, but it should at least be fun to sneak around for a while before you get fed up and fall into your primal, drug-induced berserker rage and just, murder everyone. No idea if they're going to let you do that. God, please let me go all berserker primal and just murder everybody. Seriously, this may be one of the few Assassin's Creed games I'm genuinely interested in. The last one actually was Black Flag, which I loved until they forced me from pirating back into the story, which I generally hate in Assassin's Creed games. By the way, please get out of the habit of pulling me out of the Animus. No one wants to walk around and talk to coworkers at the office. I don't even want to do that now, much less in a video game. Keep in mind this will be on the Xbox One and the PS4 as well, and it's obviously not an exclusive. Bright Memory Infinite. Man, this one has a weird history online, I think. It goes from Bright Memory to Bright Memory 1.0 to the rather vague Bright Memory Infinite. I have to admit, when I saw this one and the showcase makes me really want to see more of it. This could be an amazing title for the Xbox this generation. It's also pretty much the one I'm the most hyped for, I think, out of the whole list, except for like one other, which we'll get to a little bit later. I thought this was going to be exclusive to the Xbox and PC, but I'm finding it's got some listings on the PS4, but not the PS5. However, that could be Bright Memory or Bright Memory 1.0 and not Infinite. If someone can clear this up in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. There aren't a ton of details on this right now, other than it's mixing FPS and action genres and is set in the year 2036. The gameplay looks amazingly fast and intense with a lot of cool mechanics that you can do. Definitely one to keep your eye on for sure. Also, if anyone can clear up the weird listing on the PS4, please let me know in the comments. I could have sworn this was Microsoft exclusive, and honestly I'd kind of like it to be because they could use a killer title like this to start leading the pack. Dirt 5. Okay, this one's been shown a lot. The graphics look nice and crisp, and the water effects and details on the cars look really, really good. I've never been huge into racing games, so this is likely not for me, but I could see this one being a massive hit for that crowd. It's also one of the few ones like Bright Memory Infinite that we've seen solid gameplay, though it's a little hard to catch sometimes being mixed with the main game trailer. Enlisted. Man, I had no idea what this game was, I'll admit, but from what I can find, this is an FPS MMO where you control a small squad of soldiers in World War II. You therefore take place in various different battles in the war, and I have to admit, it actually looks pretty solid. With you controlling a squad and your friends and other people controlling them, it could be a really interesting dynamic. That's assuming you're into World War II / Battlefield-like games. It's been in alpha for some time now, which could explain some of the wonky textures and the game footage that I've found already, but if this comes out as solid as it sounds like it's going to come out, this could definitely be one that you might want to keep your eye on. The Falconer. Quite literally the reason this video exists in the first place. I had not even heard about this game at all until I wrote this up, and I was pissed. This game is an open world flight combat with falcons. It looks like if Crimson Skies and Panzer Dragon got together, and with their powers combined, the Falconer was born. I was almost insulted for the developers. They dropped this trailer back in July, and it only has 144k views. That's just criminal. Look at these comments. Why was this not in the showcase yesterday? Good question. When you want to do planes, but you want to be original. Duh. Dogfighting with birds, dragons, and airships? Count me in. Honestly, I've been complaining about not having a new Crimson Skies for ages now. And now I find out about this. If you see this video, just pause it right now. I'm okay with it. Go watch this trailer now. Give these guys some love, and then repeat the gamers chant with me. Please don't suck, please don't suck, please don't suck! Gears Tactics. I'll be honest, I've always been confused by this one. Not as to why it exists, but as to why it never showed up on the console. It's not like strategy RPGs are new to consoles, and it's already been on Steam and Game Pass for quite some time. It's basically Gears, just turn-based from what little time I got into it, and you have a set number of people that you're using, and you just tactically pick your way through a stage, dealing with a scenario as it comes up. It's an interesting take on the formula that keeps itself within the wheelhouse of Gears that it's known for, but while at the same time bringing you something kind of a little bit new. I'm very glad it's finally hitting the console. I'm just confused as to why it hadn't done it before now. Planet Coaster. This game actually came out in 2016. Somehow, me and my wife, who adores these games, missed it. It looks really fun. It's not new, and I'm glad it's getting a port. I mean, basically this in a few words is Roller Coaster Tycoon. And some of you are sold already, I can tell. It has a few new things from what I can tell with alien monsters, and basically it looks like they become part of your attractions. Think of it as a more sci-fi focused theme park here. Definitely worse ways to spend a lazy weekend, but it's a fairly old game. To which means it's not really new now, is it? Also, if you can get this with all the content on Game Pass, do it that way. This game's insanely expensive, and it's still $40 on Steam. $52 if you want the Ghostbusters theme, and $131 if you want all the content. Holy cow. However, this is the first time that this is going to come to console, so if you're a hardcore console player and you will not play on PC, this will probably be the first time you get a chance to play this. And if you're into Roller Coaster Tycoon games, you definitely need to check this one out. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not sure how Video Game Chronicle or anyone else missed this one, but Cyberpunk 2077 will be releasing day one on both new consoles. If you don't know about this game, all I have to say is, why don't you know about this game? You play as V, a mercenary outlaw going after a Wanacon implant that has the key to immortality. You're given an open world to explore in the far-flung future where people are almost as much machine as man. The styling in this game looks phenomenal, and given it's done by CD Projekt Red, you can almost guarantee this game is going to be solid from the very beginning to the very end. Anyone picking up a next-gen console should pick this one up for sure. Oh, and if you want to start playing it before you get your shiny new console, don't worry, anyone who buys the game on the current gen will get a free upgrade to the PS5 or Xbox Series X. Yeah, basically CD Projekt Red is awesome. That last edition, that makes the list of brand new games hitting the platform 12 on launch day. 32 in total. That's a lot of games to play in your Series X on launch day, and likely probably one of the more impressive lineups in years. I expect a similar number on the PlayStation list coming up soon because most of these titles are not console exclusives. Only about 4 on the list are, but frankly, that's pretty damn good. Way to come out the gate, honestly, to 32 titles total and 4 exclusives from the start. That's impressive. What do you guys think? Do you like this lineup? Are there any I missed that need to go on here? Go ahead and drop me a line in the comments. While you're there, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and as always, till next time, happy gaming.